January 26th, we observe Republic Day. And that Republic Day is possible because we have adopted a republican constitution. The Constitution of India is a unique document framed by the Constituent Assembly of India, which embodies much of the values which arose during the freedom struggle. It was the freedom struggle which brought the concept of a modern nationhood of India, a nation which should be democratic, republican, and secular, and which should encompass all the people living in India, treating all as citizens and as equal citizens. This is a constitution which says that every citizen of India, irrespective of religion, language, race, or gender, are equal. And therefore, the concept of equality, fraternity, and liberty, which are the classic concepts brought up by the French Revolution, those are incorporated in our constitution. And in a diverse country like India, the constitution accommodates this diversity. For instance, we have number of languages in India. So the 8th schedule of the Constitution has listed the national languages of India. These are declared to be the national languages. There are 22 such national languages now in the Constitution. This Constitution also sets out the framework for the federal structure. No, not fully federal, but there are federal features in the Constitution, with the states of the Indian Union having its own sphere of rights, etc. That is why it's called India is a union of states. That means it recognizes that the various states of the Indian Union constitute the republic. Therefore, this constitution, which arose, as I said, through the experience and the values which were embedded in the freedom struggle, has been the bedrock for parliamentary democracy in India. No other newly independent country in the 20th century, after the Second World War, could have what India has as a record of democracy, which is from the promulgation of this constitution. We had the first general election in 1952, and over the years, as we know, we have been conducting elections regularly, both at the national level and in the states level, so that the people have their elected representatives, and who then form the government at the state level and at the national level. So the democratic system, the concept of secularism, the concept of federalism, and, as I said, the foundation is that you have a citizenry in the republic who are all equal before in the eyes of the law and in the constitution. Now, this constitution is under grave threat since the BJP came to power in 2014 after the Lok Sabha election. The BJP is a front for the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. And from the outset, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh has not accepted the Constitution of India. First of all, because it did not share the values of the freedom struggle. The RSS refused to be part of the freedom struggle. For that, its Hindutva ideology says that the real enemies for the Hindu nation are the Muslims. And therefore, our fight is against the Muslims, not against British rule. So they did not share or participate in the freedom struggle, and they had no role in the formulation of constitution. And when the constitution was being adopted, in fact, the RSS said Manusmriti would be a better basis for the constitution. The Manusmriti, which is a religious book which says women and the lower caste must be treated as subordinates, cannot be treated as equal. This is the outlook of the RSS and the Hindutva forces. And therefore, now that they are in power, we have seen in the last 8.5 years, systematic efforts to subvert the constitution from within. While maintaining the facade of the constitution, every principle which enshrined in the constitution is sought to be undermined and distorted. Secularism, which says that all religions should be treated equally in India. Today you have a government and a prime minister who privileges one religion, Hinduism. The prime minister himself presides in official ceremonies on laying the foundation of the temple like the Ram temple, on renovation of the temple premises like the Vishwanath corridor in Kashi, and day in and day out goes to religious functions in his capacity as the prime minister. Starting from that, down below, the targeting of minorities, the Muslims particularly, even Christians in some places, depriving them of their basic rights. As citizens, Muslims in BJP ruled states like Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, etc., you find they are not got the same rights and status as others just because they are Muslims. So already the constitutional principle that all citizens are equal has been distorted or undermined under BJP rule. The other aspect, serious aspect, is the various bodies under the constitution. The very structure of the constitutional scheme is sought to be undermined. An authoritarianism of the type which will undermine the role and independence of other constitutional bodies like the court, the Supreme Court, like the armed forces, like the bureaucracy. All of them are being made totally to work at the behest of the interests of the ruling party at the center, or they are being sought to be infiltrated and packed with personnel who will do the bidding of the ruling party. Right now, this target is the Supreme Court. After already taming the bureaucracy, after taming the Election Commission of India, after using central agencies like the CBI and the ED, etc., in an unconstitutional manner against political opponents, now the effort is to undermine the integrity and independence of the judiciary also. So, what is happening is a RSS project to usher in a Hindu Rashtra. And that Hindu Rashtra is antithetical to the constitution and the basic precepts of the constitution. So, what is at stake today is the very existence and survival of the Republican Constitution. Hindutva authoritarianism would like to reshape and change the Constitution to serve its needs, which means that the Republican Constitution, which was adopted by the Constituent Assembly of India and which has been in force for the last 7 decades, is today under serious threat. It becomes the responsibility of every citizen of India, every democratic minded person in India to rise up to fend off this threat to the Constitution of India. Defense of democracy, defense of secularism, defense of the Constitution. This should be the watchword for all of us in the coming days.